I'd like to talk about two subjects today. First of all, well-being and work, and secondly, why governments should care about the well-being of voters. So let's start with work. It's where all of us spend a lot of our time. The question is, how much do we enjoy it? Is it a labour of love, or is it something that we endure rather than enjoy? You spend a lot of your life working, so it really should be something that you enjoy and makes you feel happier, makes you feel better about your lives. It should be a labour of love. Now, the well-being literature has looked at this, and in America now, the various recruitment agencies that will be able to tell you not just what the benefits of your job are in terms of income and pensions and stuff like that, but they'll actually tell you how happy people are who have those jobs. Wouldn't that be incredibly useful information for careers advisory people to give out? You know, not just what the prospects are for getting promotion and all the rest of it, but actually how much do people really love their jobs? So that's the first thing. Try and get into a job that you really love and think about careers advice for people to ensure that they are there, because basically when you're there, you're more productive. So from the employee point of view, you really want to be in an environment that stimulates you, that pushes you, that makes you feel like you're contributing, you're doing something useful. I spent a lot of my time in public service, and believe me, that for me was great. That's why I did it. It wasn't the money, I can tell you that, but it was something that made me go home at night feeling I had made a contribution. So from an employee point of view, it's obvious that you want to have higher well-being at work. But is it so obvious for the employers? Well, actually, it is. Happier workers who feel more interested in their jobs, more engaged with their jobs, are more productive. And that's just not me saying that. We actually have strong research evidence that that's what happens. You look at things like the correlation between employers' well-being and customer loyalty and profitability and productivity, all of those things very positive. If you look at the relationship between how happy workers are in their jobs and staff turnover, it's a strong negative correlation. So actually, if people really enjoy where they're working, they won't move on, so you won't lose so many of them. So all of those things are really important, and for investors, it's important to know that companies which have highly engaged workforces actually turn out to get better stock market returns. So there's an enormous amount that's there. Now, you might ask, if you're really clever, what about the causation? Is it that high well-being means that people are in smart jobs, or is it smart jobs that lead to high well-being? Well, actually, we have some really interesting research by Professor Jan de Neve at Oxford, who's shown, using people who work at British Telecom call centres, that actually when their well-being is raised by something kind of independent, like the weather, they actually perform better at their jobs. So how can we create the weather? How can we create that effect? Well, I'm here at Frontier Economics. You will see it's not your standard kind of office. We want to create an environment, a work environment that's friendly, that's pleasant, that actually means people like being here. They perform better, they're creative, they're more productive. So it works for everybody. So it's a no-brainer to me that we should really care about well-being at work. What about governments? Should governments care about the well-being of their people? Well, what do governments care about more than anything else? And I speak as someone that's worked in government for over 3 decades with numerous prime ministers. What they really care about is getting re-elected. Let's be honest, that matters more to them, because could be for very good reasons about wanting to change the world for better, wanting longer to do it, but re-election is massively important to them. So George Ward, who was at LSE when he started this research, is now MIT in the States, has looked at the relationship between the well-being of the population and voting. And it turns out that if governments deliver increases in well-being for their population, it turns out they do better in elections. And the level of their individual subjective well-being measures are far more important than the standard measures that people look at, like GDP growth and unemployment. So my message for governments is make people happier. Now, it's a pretty simple message, and if you get that message and you achieve it, then you will have a chance in your second term to make people even happier. So the main point of all of this is make sure that we all care about our personal well-being, we care about our well-being at work, and we elect governments that also care about our well-being and go improve it through their time in office, and look for those policies which can really make a difference. Thank you.